The Sacramento Kings are hosting the 6th annual California Classic Summer League on July 6th, July 7th, and July 9th with an expanded lineup of teams preparing for NBA action. Chris and I are going to get you in the building. Call at 1 p.m., 916-339-1140, and lock up this family 4-pack of 3-day passes. Okay? We'll figure out who will pick that number at 1 p.m. if you want to check out the California Classic Team A and Team B this season.
Go
Chris,
Team A.
I'm definitely interested in how those teams are dispersed.
Yeah.
And the question is, should Sasha Vezenkov be on either of those teams? Should Sasha play? 28 years old.
Yeah.
Second year in the league, though. Should he play in the California Classic?
That's a great question. I would not be opposed to it. I think the thing would be if Sasha would be. There's definitely value in it for sure. I mean, we saw Keegan Murray last year. Even if it is just him going out there and dominating, like there's value in feeling like, okay, I'm clearly above this level of talent. And, you can kind of use that confidence going into the offseason. But, there also is the fact that he's 28 years old. He's a little bit more established. Like, I don't want to say is it insulting when a guy is, clearly not a part of the rotation, but, there is a bit of like, no, like I'm a veteran. I don't know if I need to be playing against the 19 and 20-year-olds.
I think he should play.
If all pride's aside, then yeah, I think it makes sense for him to play. But I wonder if the politics of everything gets involved, where it's just like, yeah, like he's an older guy. I don't want to say it's beneath him, but I mean, in a way, it's like that's for the really, really young new guys. What good is it to have a 29-year-old out there with a bunch of 19-year-olds?
Well, Keon will play.
Keon will play. Yeah, Keon's only in his second or third year of being in there. Like,
hey, Keon got more playing time than Sasha.
Absolutely. No, but that's where I'm saying it's not even necessarily about the face value of it. It's more about the politics of like, hey, Keon, like it's not crazy to ask a guy who was just on a 2-way contract last year and just got a little NBA footing. You can join. But again, like this guy who we recruited, we're paying. I mean, Sasha's like the 7th highest paid King, right? He's getting paid more than Keegan Murray is. Like, there's just a lot of that goes into it. And then it's asking Sasha, who's probably overseas right now, maybe preparing for the Olympics as well. Like, hey, can you come over to play 2 weeks of summer league basketball and then fly all the way back? There's logistics that go into it too.
We had Sean Cunningham on late last week, who came out with the report that the initial report of Sasha wanting out was not based in truth.
And I was a little confused. Sean also said that, not that he confirmed it or anything, but he had heard that there was whispers of maybe Sasha moving down to the G League, if I'm not mistaken. I think he said that.
He said there were conversations at one point.
Yeah. And that makes me believe that there's a better shot of him maybe being on Summer League. But again, even then the decision was, nah, like let's not send him down. We'll just have him work with the big club instead.
I don't think it's insulting simply because it's different. He's still trying to get used to the basketball over here versus, where he was playing in Europe. And you got to get your hacks in any way you can. And, based on your injury, Sasha, you did not look, if I'm the Kings, we wanted to play you more. And it's probably partly on us that you did not play more, but you also got injured.
Sure.
So this season was kind of a waste. So we need to take every opportunity for you because, whether the reports are completely off base, I'm sure Sasha wants to put more on tape, even if it is Summer League. And for the Kings, if there is a team that's interested, put more on tape. There's just not enough. There's not enough of a reason that I think Sasha has earned, besides, like you said, just the optics of it. And hey, it's kind of messed up to have this 28-year-old playing with these young guys. But if I'm Sasha, my PR run needs to kind of be switched a little bit and, show people what I can do.
Yeah. I just,
unless you think the Summer League just doesn't move the needle at all.
I don't personally think it does. I think it's, again, more for like a confidence thing, but I wonder, I think the logistics side of it is a pretty big hurdle. And then, it's also the development, like from the King side, like, or even from an injury side, like Sasha was injured all of this year. Do you want to risk maybe him getting injured again in these meaningless games, or would you rather have him try and recover? And if he gets hurt during summer league, just again, the optics of it might be bad. And it's like, okay, well now you can't, maybe he's injured at the start of the season. You're going to have to outweigh the pros and the cons. I do think at the end of the day, again, if all politics were aside, if all things were created equal, I think Summer League would be a good spot for him. But I just kind of think that everything it just would be very it would be very unordinary for a 28-year-old EuroLeague MVP to win his second season. The fact that he wasn't in it last season, and I think it was because he was still moving over. He might have even been playing at this time, but I just think the optics of it make it a little bit tough for me to imagine. But at the same time, we've also seen there's the Kings marketing side of this too, to where, what gets a lot more people in the building at Golden One Center is you can put on the marquee. I'm sure Keon will be there, but if you can put Sasha up there too, that'll probably, the more pro players that you can convince people, hey, come see these guys for cheap, you're probably going to get, you're probably going to get a bigger audience.
They got Team A and Team B. Who the heck is going to be on these teams?
That's 30 people, right?
Who is going to be on these teams?
No, and that's, absolutely. It doesn't make, it would make a lot of sense to put him as one of the 30. But then there's also it's an annoying question, but I feel like would you rather watch a potential guy who can be on your G League team, and like maybe you discover somebody instead of giving Sasha 30 minutes in one of these games, maybe you can give those to somebody who actually is developing, or maybe you can find a diamond in the rough with those minutes is the counter as well.
Well,
which I don't.
It doesn't, but he doesn't have to play every game. I think
I would say 2 games max.
Right.
He's going to play.
Right. Yeah. I would just say, hey, just, get him a couple, feeling good, get him back in the Kings uni, and he doesn't have to play every game of the Summer League, So I understand why it probably won't happen, because it could come off as disrespectful, even though that's not the intention.
Yeah.
If the question also is, I just don't think you're going to get anything from it. Yeah. Right. And he's, they'd rather watch his EuroLeague tape if there's somebody interested in trading for him. And as far as Sasha's concerned, the difference between G League and the NBA proper is so vast.
Yeah.
Sasha's not going to gain anything from playing in those games.
Probably not, but maybe even from the King side, I'm thinking about this on the fly. Like maybe if you are trying to up his trade value, to your point, like
let him cook.
Yeah. Let him absolutely cook, and let it be a showcase. Say like, I know this is still G League, but the fact that he's putting 28 a game in these G League games, like, it means there's something there, right? Like,
you could go the opposite direction. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's possible.
He's not a ball handler, so it's going to be at the mercy of a bunch of dudes who are trying to get contracts to give him the ball and to feed into that. So, no, you're right, because if Sasha ends up with 6 or 9 points, it's like, okay, so is this guy like a G League role player?
Now I feel like I've talked myself into Sasha not playing.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're probably just going to have to, you're going to have to make a pros and cons list. And if the pros outweigh the cons, then maybe you consider it. But I kind of feel like the cons are heavy enough to where they're probably just going to say, maybe there's a happy compromise, right? Maybe you can work out with the Summer League guys and give them, a little bit of taste of like, here's an NBA talent, and you're also getting reps. But then when the actual game comes, we won't, quote unquote, embarrass you enough to like put you out in front of some stage and have people wonder, why is this 29-year-old playing with a bunch of young kids? You can still practice, I guess maybe that's a workaround. That's a happy compromise. But even then it's like, if we gonna do it, Dan, we gonna do it big, Dan.
Right.
If you're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah. Especially for what Sasha does. To me, Sasha, he kind of reminds me. It's just a position where he's going to do, it reminds me of a defensive end. So when Bosa wasn't at, OTAs or camp last season, Kyle Shanahan wasn't really worried about him because what he does, it's very singular.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Sasha, he's not a ball handler, so it's not like, okay, I got to learn to play with the guys and to do this or that. He's just out there pulling.
Yeah. Exactly.
So he can do that with anybody.
Sure.
I probably wouldn't play him. All right, coming up next, will the finals be over tonight?